Hey everyone, we're here in England, so we wanted to bring you a little virtual version, a mini version of our Wednesday night class so that you can have something to try at home. So feel free to grab a water, a mat, maybe a towel for a little extra cushion under your knees if you think you might need that, and feel free to pause and throw on a playlist that's going to make you feel nice and cozy and calm. And when you're ready, we'll get started by laying on our backs. You can start with your heels planted on the ground and just take a moment to arrive on your mat and just really soften and relax. Take a nice big deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. And when you're ready, you can bring your knees up towards your chest. And by guiding your knees with your arms, just make some soft, gentle circles. Take a moment to pause and go the other direction. A little massage for your lower back on the mat. Come back to center. I want you to stack your knees over top of your hips. You're going to glue your knees and your feet together. You can bring your arms out in a T position at your sides. So keeping your shoulders on the mat, I want you to slowly lower your knees towards the ground to the left. You don't have to go all the way down, and then control them all the way back up to center and allow them to fall gently to the right. So using your core to control all the way up, all the way down, just shifting side to side a few times here. Inhaling on the way up, exhaling as you lower. We're going to go one more time to the left. And the next time we roll to the right, we're going to come all the way over. So closing that book, left hand is going to stack on top of your right. So your knees are stacked on top of each other, as well as your hips. You're going to keep them that way. And we're going to begin to open that left hand. Open your chest, reach across towards the ground, allowing your gaze to follow your fingertips all the way to the other side. And then we're going to exhale and close that book. Just rotating, open a few times. Maybe you find you sink a little bit deeper. We're trying to keep those knees stacked on the ground. And one more time, we're going to open. And we're going to roll our knees back to center. We're going to ground through our heels close enough so that our fingertips can reach them when we extend them down at our sides. We're going to take a little inhale here to prepare. Tilt your pelvis to shorten that distance between your ribs and your hips. We're going to exhale, press up through your heels. Lift your hips off the mat, engaging your glutes, and then slowly roll back down one vertebrae at a time. Again, press up and lift through the heels, and slowly lower back down. At your own pace, and press up into these bridges a few times, trying not to arch through your lower back, moving nice and slow, continuing to breathe. We have two more. When we get to the top on the next time, we're going to add a little baby pulse. So pressing up and then trying not to bounce, just lifting and lowering 1 inch at a time. Little lift and squeeze. We have 4, 3, 2, and we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower all the way down. We're going to bring our knees back into that tabletop. Arms are going to come out to the side. Tuck that tailbone under, and we're slowly going to lean our knees to one side. Again, keeping your core engaged. Shoulders are on the mat. Softly lowering side to side. And next time we go to the left side, we're going to close all the way over. So let those knees roll to the side. Close that book. So your right hand is going to stack on top of your left. Knees are stacked on top of each other. Feet are together. You're just relaxing on the ground, and you're going to open that right side all the way open, aiming for the ground. It's okay if you can't reach it. Exhale. We close our right hand on top of our left. And big inhale as you open your chest towards the sky. Let your gaze follow all the way down to your fingertips. Exhale as you close that book. One more time here. As you close that book, you're going to softly push that right hand into the floor. Come to a seated position. We're going to roll all the way over into our tabletop. So we're going to reach our hands to opposite edges of the mat and knees to the opposite sides and get into our shell stretch. So sink those hips down towards your heels. Press the mat away. And round gently up through the top of our spine and sink back lower. You're going to walk your hands towards your body, and we're just going to stretch out our wrists a little bit. So bringing them nice and close towards you, we're softly going to lean in towards our palms. So we never want to work through any sharp pains and not putting too much weight on them. It's enough to get a nice stretch. We're going to rotate those fingertips to the outer edges of our mat and softly rock side to side. You can rotate those fingertips towards you. Get nice and close to your body and sink back, hips towards your heels. Exhale those shoulders away from your ears. If you need a deeper stretch, you can walk them forward slightly. Beautiful. We're going to flip our hands around and come back into our tabletop position, making sure that our shoulders are stacked over top of our wrists and our hips over top of our knees. We're going to get into some cat-cow, so you can uncurl your toes. We're going to arch up through our back, draw your belly button up towards your spine, push the mat away, so rounding through the shoulders. And then as we exhale, we're going to drop our chest to the mat. Back of your head comes towards your tailbone. Just moving back and forth a few times at your own pace here. One more time, we round through those shoulders, push the mat away. You're going to come back to center. You're going to extend your right leg out to the side, still making sure that your hips stacked over top of that knee. We can walk our hands forward a little bit, and then we're going to sink our hips down towards our heels. We push the mat away for some adductor rockers, back to center. We have two more here. We're going to reset to that tabletop. Get right into our bird dog. So our right leg is going to be moving along with our left hand. So you can start your reach towards the ends of your mat. So right leg is moving. We're staying on this side for now. And if this is feeling good and we're comfortable with that pattern, we can begin to lift. So you're going to extend left hand long, right leg long, and then lift, and then bring them back down towards the mat to the tabletop position. So keep this nice and slow and controlled. Feel free to reset those hands, those knees. We're trying not to dump into one side of our hip. Nice and slow. Big squeeze through the glutes on your right side. Strong through that left shoulder. Trying your best to maintain that tuck of your pelvis so that you're not arching through your lower back. Your hips and shoulders are square and parallel to the mat. I'm going to do 3 more here. Last one. Bring back down to our tabletop. We're going to drop down to our forearms to give our wrists a little break. You can walk them out a little bit further in front of you. Hips are still stacked over top of those knees. And we're going to get into a little donkey kick. So your heel is going to kick up towards the ceiling, but your knee is going to stay bent here. So just with our right leg, making sure we're pressing those forearms into the mat so that we're not dumping through the shoulders. You're going to try to put a little footprint on the ceiling here. And controlling that leg all the way up, all the way down. Trying to keep those ribs stacked over top of your pelvis. We've got 3, 2, and 1. We had that pulse. So little tippy taps on the ceiling, slow movements. 4, 3, 2, and hold. Big squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come up onto our knees for a second just to give our upper body a little break, get some movement in. So starting from a kneeling position, again, we're going to maintain that tuck of our pelvis. Reach your hands out in front of you. We're going to start with our right hand. Reach towards the back of the room and let your gaze follow. We're going to try to keep our hips square towards the front. And then left hand is going to open, reach all the way back, and close. So just rotating and alternating sides here. Open your chest. Big squeeze through your back. We're going to do 1 more on each side. And their hands are going to come all the way up overhead. Reaching nice and high here. I want you to imagine that you're dragging the back of your hands down that back wall behind you. So opening through your chest, you're driving your elbows down towards those back pockets, and then you're going to reach all the way up towards the sky. Again, maintaining that subtle tuck, stacking your ribs over top of your pelvis. Trying not to arch that lower back. Sliding those shoulder blades down as you drive your elbows towards those back pockets. One more time here. We're going to bring our hands back down to the mat. And we're going to extend our left leg out to the side this time. So keeping your hip stacked over top of that knee. Toes are relaxed. You can walk those hands forward gently. Shoulders are away from your ear. We're going to sink those hips down towards your heel. and back up top. You can play around with the distance of your foot. You need to reach it out a little bit further. Find what's comfortable for you. One more here. Back into our tabletop. This time our left leg is moving and our right hand. So into those bird dogs. We're going to reach towards the long ends of our mat. Keeping those shoulders stacked over top of the wrists. And if this is feeling good, we've got the pattern down, we begin to lift. So think long, trying not to arch through that lower back. We don't have to lift very high. Just trying to get to shoulder height and hip height with that leg. We're moving slowly with control. We have two more here. We're going to drop down to those forearms again. Sink back. You can walk those hands a little bit further forward. And then keeping that knee bent, we're going to kick our heel all the way up towards the sky. And again, nice and strong through those left glutes, pushing the mat away. We've got three more here. 3, 2, and we add our pulse. Slow, controlled movements. Stay strong, we're almost there. And then we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower that knee back down towards the mat. We can drive our knees towards opposite edges, reach towards the opposite corners, sink those hips down towards your heels. We're going to walk those hands back a little bit, step back into our high plank. When you're ready, you're going to lift your hips into our pike plank. Pedal those heels out. Stretch through the back of those legs and calves. And then we're going to step the right foot towards the right hand. We're going to drop that back knee and walk our hands nice and close to our body. So we're pretty upright here. Relax that back toe. Then your right hand's going to come all the way up towards the sky and then back down to the mat. And then left hand is going to come all the way up to the sky and all the way back down. So one more time on each side here. And we're going to press back up, step back, lift your hips into your high plank, pike plank, pedal your feet out. And when you're ready, you're going to step your left foot towards that left hand, drop that back knee, but we're going to walk our hands back nice and close. When we're ready, left hand comes all the way up to the sky, back down to the ground on the inside of that left foot, and we reach our right hand all the way up. One more on each side here. Beautiful. We're going to step back into that high plank, drop those knees. We're going to come down, roll all the way onto our side. You can find a comfortable position with your head in your hand. So starting on our right side here, we're going to bring our knees up in line with our hips, glue those feet together, and then we're going to lift those heels off the mat here. So keeping your feet together, you're going to open that top knee and lift and lower back down. We want to make sure that we're keeping our hips stacked so we're not rolling back. So it's okay if we can't lift that leg as high. And if this is feeling good, we're going to add a little extension of that top leg. So open and point your toe. So big squeeze through those quads. Toe comes back to toe. We lower down. Full. 2 and 1. So you're going to lower that bottom leg. Keep that top leg lifted. We're going to point it towards the end of the mat. Toe points down, and then we tap our toe down on the mat. Lift. So again, keep those hips stacked so that we're not rolling back. We can really isolate. And we want to control that leg all the way up and all the way down. 3, 2, 1. As we come down, we're going to hover at hip height. So point that toe long, and we're going to make some small circles. We got counterclockwise to start. So just keeping it at about hip height. Pause for a moment, and we're going to go the other direction. We try to make sure that we're stacked here as well. So ribs over top of that pelvis. We're trying not to dump in through the shoulder. And we're going to hold long and strong right through the middle. And we're going to pulse. 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lower all the way back down. We're going to roll onto our backs now. So bringing our knees back up into that tabletop position. We're going to start to tilt our pelvis again. So really pressing your lower back into the mat, shortening that distance between your ribs and your hips. We can bring our hands up, extended over our chest, and we're going to start with some heel taps. So right foot comes all the way down, slowly lifts back up to that tabletop. Exhale, lower and tap. So check in with that lower back again. If you need to reset in that tabletop, we really want to be pressing that lower back into the ground. And alternating. And keeping your knees stacked over top of those hips is the ideal place to be. We have 3 more here. And we can stay at this layer, or we can add on. And we're going to start to add our hands in arms. So instead of just tapping the heel down, we're going to extend our leg long. So opposite foot, opposite arm are going to come down to the mat and then return to that tabletop. Opposite side, left heel extends, right arm, and reset. So check in with yourself if you're still able to maintain that contact with your lower back. If you aren't, and this is feeling really challenging, you can always sink back to those heel taps instead of extending. You can still keep the arms added in. One more on either side, and then we're going to add one more layer. So from the tabletop position, our right elbow is going to come across our body. So hands can come towards our temples, and we're going to extend our right leg. So you're going to come across your body, lift, return to the tabletop. So you can try to keep your shoulders elevated. Opposite side, left elbow comes towards your right knee. return to your tabletop. So we're moving very slowly here. Don't forget to breathe. Check in with that lower back. We need to drop down to a previous layer. We have 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can lower those heels down towards the mat. You can roll right over to your left side from here, but I'm just going to spin around so that you can see me a little bit better. So we get into our side lying series. Support your head in your hand, or if you prefer to lay all the way down onto your shoulder, that's okay too. So bringing your knees up in line with those hips again, we're going to get into those clamshells. So gluing your feet together, you're going to lift your feet off the mat and then start to open that top leg. Maintaining that tuck, or stack, pardon me, through your hips. And if we're feeling good with this, we can add that extension. So we open and we point our toe, return that toe to toe, and then lower back down. Beautiful. 2 more. Big squeeze through that quad. And we're going to drop that lower leg. Extend your top leg, point those toes all the way to the end of the mat. We're going to point the toe down, and that's where we lift. All the way up, all the way down. Beautiful. We've got 3 more here. We're just going to lower down to hip height. You can point that toe nice and long, and we start to draw those circles again. Take that little pause, switch directions. You can start small, maybe you start to get a little bit bigger. We have 3, 2. We're going to hold nice and long and pulse for 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. A little bit higher. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Lower that leg. We're going to roll back onto our backs. You can just roll over. I'm just going to spin around. We're going to get back into some core. So right where we started the last round, we're going to bring our knees up into that tabletop position. Tuck that tailbone under. Zip up those hips. Shorten that distance. And we're going to start with those heel taps to start. So slowly lower. Maintain control of those legs. Pressing that lower back. We want to add that next layer. We add our arms in and we extend. So opposite foot, opposite hand, and then we return to that starting position. Maintaining press with your lower back, resetting each time. If you want more of a challenge tonight too, feel free to lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Two more here, and we're going to add that last layer. So crossing over, hands come to your temples. You're going to lift your head, neck, and shoulders. Right elbow comes to the left knee. Extend that right leg. Reset. You come across and reset. A little exhale will be helpful each time you lift. And if you need to drop down to a previous layer, or as always, take a little break anytime you need it. We have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So relax those shoulders onto the mat. You can drop those heels down nice and slowly. We have one more round of glute bridges here. So making sure that our heels are within fingertip distance. We're going to press up through our heels, lift your hips, big squeeze through your glutes, and slowly roll back down. Again. Just moving nice and slowly at your own pace here. You need to slow it down even more. Press. Just pausing for a little moment at the top so that we're not rushing through these movements. Three, 2. Again, we add that pulse at the very top. Just small lifts and lowers. And then hold. Big press for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Slowly rest those hips down. You can bend your knees. You're going to reach through, elbows on the inside. Grab onto those pinky toes. Heels come up towards the sky. Let your knees drop to either edges of your mat. Soft rock back and forth. When you're ready, you can drop your left heel towards the mat. You're going to cross your right ankle over top of your left knee. Bringing your right arm out to the side. You're going to gaze at your fingertips and slowly lower your legs towards the left side. You need to support yourself, your hand on your knee. Take a big inhale here, in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to roll back to center. Free to reach through and grab onto the left thigh. A gentle pull towards your chest as you relax your shoulders back onto the mat. You can extend your left heel and long up towards the sky, and then bend at the knee. Again, reaching long. You want to add some rotations of your ankle, a little point and flex. And through one more time, and extend. And you You can slowly lower that heel all the way to the ground. Return your right foot to the ground, and you're going to switch. Cross your left foot over your right ankle. Your left hand is going to come out and extend into a T towards the left side. Allow your gaze to follow, and then your knees can slowly roll down towards the right side. And if you need to support yourself with your hand on your knee, feel free to do so. Take a little breath here. On your next exhale, you can roll back to center. Reach through onto your right thigh. Just a soft pull towards your body. Nice stretch through your glutes on the left side. And then if it's going to feel good, we're going to extend that right heel all the way up towards the sky. And bend at the knee. Bend up. We're going to add a little rotation of our ankle. A little point and flex. Then one more time. And we're going to extend. And a stretch down the back of your leg. And then return that right heel all the way down to the ground. We're going to uncross those legs. Let your heels find the opposite edges of your mat. And then you can just swish from side to side, letting your right knee drop towards the center as your left leg falls out to the side. And swish all the way back to the other side. And feel free as you come back to center. You want to close your eyes for a moment, extend your feet to the edges, bottom corners of your mat. Relax your hands at your side. You haven't closed your eyes already. Just take a final moment to relax and soak up the calm.